Hello and welcome to Blocs Master. My name is Elder and this is the new tutorial for Blocs Master class series. And today I'm going to cover the vertical tabs. So I'm going to use my own website project for this, but you can use of course anything else. And what I'm going to use for this video is the tabbed content brick. As you know, we have tabbed content brick in Blocs. And I have already covered this on my YouTube channel in quite a good detail. But today, instead of just customizing the appearance of this brick, we will also customize the layout and make it work these vertical tabs, fully optimized for mobile, of course. So let's create the simple structure here and I will show you how to do that. So, above our tabbed content brick, I will also add the H2. So we have some kind of title here, vertical tabs, like that. And now let's customize the structure of this brick. And this is probably the most important part of this video. So as you can see, inside this one row, we have column, and inside this column, we have two elements: the list and div container. The list contains the links or tabs, and the div container contains the content areas. So if we select the list and type the different number of items in the sidebar, for example 5, you will see that we have 5 tabs and 5 content areas. So for this video I will use 3, which is more than enough. But to customize the number of items, we can do that here in the sidebar. So the first, what I'm going to do is I will select the column and I will add the new class to this column. I will name this vertical column. I will also add the class to the list, so vertical list. I will also add the class to the div container, this content, so vertical div. We will add a couple more classes later. For now, let's go to column, open the vertical column class, and go to the positioning tab and enable the flags in the display settings. And right away, you can see that now we have something which looks like a sidebar. From here, I will also go to the flags tab. And from the flags tab, we can change the direction. We can have the tabs on the right or on the left. I will actually come back to this at the final part of this video when we will be adjusting some design elements. But for now, I want it to be from left to right, so something like that. So let's click done. And after that, we want to select the list, which has the tabs at the moment, but you can see that tabs are located one next to each other horizontally. We want to make them vertical as well. So let's open the vertical list class we just created. Go to positioning tab, same story, enable the flags. And now when we change the direction, we can select from top to bottom like that. And as you can see, we have the sidebar, the tabs, from top to bottom. And of course, from here, we can also change the size, because right now, as you can see, both of the div container and the list, these tabs, is quite small. And we can change the width of the list to something, whatever works for you. So I think something like 300 or maybe even 200. Well, I will start with 300, but we can change it later. We can change this here using this class. And we will do the same for the div container, because as you can see, it is quite small. It only covers the area which has the content. Instead of that, we want to select it and set the width to 100, like that. So we have the content filling the whole width of the screen, apart from the area which is occupied by the list, which has our tabs. So let's click done. And now this actually looks pretty close to what we want to see. So one area I would like to change right away is the content areas, so we can see them better. So I will delete the paragraph bricks we have inside from each of the areas, like that. and instead I will add images or something which you can see right away. And I will be just using some of the images I have in my project here, but of course you can change. You can put any type of content there basically. So let's say this is some all access pass, and for the third one, let's say this one will look fine. And we need, of course, to place it in the third content area. You can see we have 1, 2, 3, and all of them are now having different images. We can change the padding. Obviously, they won't be visible at once, but still, I want to see them better here. So this will be me. So let's say this is the about me, whatever, or just about. This is the all access pass. So let's say this is the all access pass, and this is the templates. So let's name the third content templates. The third tab, the third link, and the third content area will be templates. So we already have something here, but let's add some colors as well, like that. And if we go to preview right now, we can go to Blocs preview, or we can go to browser preview. It doesn't really matter. You can see that it is already working pretty good. Of course, we will change a lot of things here, and it will look much better by the end of this video. So let's click stop, exit the preview mode, and to change the design for the tabs, what I'm going to use is actually the built-in Bootstrap classes, which I have actually touched on in the previous videos. I can just tell you what these classes are, but there is also a way we can find classes, and I teach this in many of my tutorials, to be honest. But basically, if you inspect the element on the page in your browser, and right now I'm using the Safari in the developer mode. If you don't have it in developer mode, you can go to settings, advanced, and here you have the show developer menu in menu bar, which is very important to enable this, because if you don't have this enabled, you can see that we won't see the inspection tools. So let's enable this, and now we have the inspect element option. Okay, so let's close this and let's inspect the element. And from here, I will be using this start element selection button to find the element of this sidebar which I want to change. So by clicking on this, I can right away see that we have nav tabs element here, which is the first class we are going to add to our project. So let's go to Blocs, open the class manager, and inside I will add the nav tabs class. We will open it right away, and using this class we can change the overall design of this sidebar. If we want, we can add the background color, which I don't want, so I won't be adding that. But for example, I like to get rid of the borders, because as you can see we have some borders here and I don't need them. So I will select the border area and type 0 when we have width. And you can see right away we don't have anything there anymore. And basically this class can be used instead of the list class we have added ourselves. But I still like to add my own class so I can know exactly what I'm changing for what element. But once again, it is the same class. You can actually get rid of this one and just adjust the nav tabs class. Both ways are totally fine. So the next class we want to change is for the nav tab nav link. And to find it, once again, you can see that we have some hover effect here. To find it, we can click on inspect element and select one of the tabs. And you can see right away we have this nav tabs nav link class. Let's add this to Blocs. And this class will ask you if you want to leave the spaces intact. And yes, we always want to leave spaces intact. Well, in this situation, it is actually no, leave spaces intact. And as you can see, it puts it exactly like we want. And if we open the class editor, this will allow us to change the overall design, like the font size, boldness, whatever of these links. So let's go to typography settings and we will, well, let's make them bold. We can make them capital letters. We can change the letter spacing if we want. Well, I don't really want to, but we can do that here. We can also change the color in the normal state as well as the hover state, which is very important. We can change what color it is when we hover the mouse. So blue will be fine. So what else we can change here? Of course, we can change the background color for the whole tab. But well, if you want to create some button-like structure, you can change it here. I would like to have it completely transparent, so we only have links. So let's click done, go to preview to see what we have. You can see we have some hover effect for the borders. We will get rid of that right away, but as you can see, the color is blue on hover. It is pretty much close to what we wanted to see. So let's go back to our classes. And again, we can add class to this whole button and actually do the same changes as we do to these nav tabs, nav link. But the reason why I'm doing this is because the third class we are going to edit will be for the active button, and for that one you will have to use this bootstrap class. So this is why I'm showing you how to do this using the inspector for these classes as well. So let's go to the second tab, and now we're of course in the more normal state, but let's delete the border. As you can see, it was there but was invisible. Let's go to hover state and also delete the border like that. So now when we go to preview, you will see that we don't have any jumping or anything like that. Of course, if you want to increase the padding between the links, you can always just, well, there are many ways to do that. We can add padding like that, or you can, for example, change the size of the text here. So let's make it 1 for algebraic point, and for the line height we can make it 2, for example, so that we have more space here. Okay, for now, like I said, we only need one more class to edit, and this is for the active link. Right now, as you can see, it is kind of white. It has white background, which is maybe fine for your design, but if you want to make it just having different color, for example, blue, let's do that too. So I will select the active tab at this moment, and this is the class we need to select, copy, and we will go back to blocks and add this class to our class manager, leave the spaces intact, and from here we can change the color of the active link. You can see it is changing to blue. We can get rid of the background, so it is just the link without the background, and I think this is fine for now. So let's go and see how this looks. Yeah, I think this is exactly what we wanted. As you can see right now, we have this kind of jumping effect and not very smooth. The first image kind of fades in, but all of the other images are jumping a little bit. So what I want to do, I want to select all of them and add the fade in effect to all 3 images, so it is the same. We can also do that to the whole content areas div container bricks, but well, for now we only have one image, so I will do only images here. As you can see now, it is a little bit better. So this is the basic structure of our tabbed content brick when we use it as a vertical tabs. But of course, one of the things we need to keep in mind all the time is the mobile optimization. So let's go to other breakpoints and see how this looks. So I think that for this MD breakpoint, this is totally fine. For SM breakpoint, well, first of all, I want to align everything to the left, but I mean, it looks okay, but we can still improve it. For example, for the list item, so let's go to nav tab, nav link. I think we have some padding And we can also get rid of that here if we delete the padding like this. So maybe not up and down, but maybe on the sides we can get rid of this padding. So it starts exactly from the start of the brick, from the left edge. And now if we go to other breakpoints, I think we will have more space. I think for this breakpoint, we can also change the size a little bit. It is a little bit too big. So let's make it something like that. For spacing as well, something like this. And well, for the width of the list, we have 300. I think that for both LG and MD it is totally fine, but for SM we can change it to something smaller, maybe to 150. Yeah, it looks fine. But for mobile, this is the most important one, because for mobile we will do something different. For mobile, let's select the column, go to MD, SM, XS. For mobile, the smallest breakpoint. Instead of having this sidebar structure, we actually want it to be regular tabs on the top area and content below structure. So let's go to the flex. And as you remember, this is the design we looked for when we were designing for the larger breakpoints. But for mobile, we want to change it to top to bottom. Something like that. And you will see that the changes are only applied to mobile breakpoint, which is very nice. From here, well, right now the tabs are quite big and we can, of course, leave them like that, or we will come back to tabs in a second. But for now, I think that what we need to do is give some padding to the list itself, because some margin, bottom margin, because I think they're too close. So let's make it maybe 20 pixels, something like that. And from here, of course, we can also change the alignment of the links, so we can align them to the center. And if we go to the nav tabs nav link class, well, first of all, let's actually go to vertical list class, and instead of this, we will select the left to right, so they are in one line horizontally. And of course, right now they just don't fit. And of course, we can make them in 2 rows if we want, or we can make the size much smaller. And for that, let's actually use nav tabs nav link class. So we can make the size much smaller for mobile. Well, maybe not that much, something like that. And obviously we don't have any spacing between the elements because we have disabled the padding on left and right. So we can actually add it back here for mobile. Maybe some 10 pixels, 7. And let's make it 75. Let's make it 7, 65. Well, you get the idea. You can adjust it any way you want. And actually, one thing we need to change here is because we're using the width 250, which we set for SM breakpoint, but for this one, we can switch to 100%. So we're utilizing the whole width of this area. And it means that now we can adjust the size of the links, make them a little bit bigger because we have more space. So I think 70 will be fine, even maybe 75 also will be fine for our design here. And I think that this one is actually already looking quite good. Well, maybe we will go to vertical list and increase the amount of padding a little bit, 28. So this looks good for mobile, for SM, MD, LG breakpoint. Let's go to preview to see how this looks. And it looks fine. Let's go to resizing of this area and see how this reacts. Fully responsive, of course. And for mobile, well, right now we have links aligned to the left. We can, of course, change it to the center if you want. Well, it's up to you, actually. Well, I will go here, and right now these links are aligned to the left, but we can change this, I believe. And if we have this, let's actually see how this will look. if we change the direction, I think that now the links will be aligned to the center. Yeah, totally fine. So if we want to align them, we can use this, and you can see that tabs are now directly in the center of this area. And once again, for bigger breakpoints, we have sidebar vertical tabs. This is very important to optimize for mobile, because obviously this design will not work for mobile devices, but it looks very good. And like I said, if we want, we can always come back to our vertical column class and change the direction like this. We can place the links to the right side. And from here, of course, we can change the alignment of the links this way. So they are on the right and they are aligned to the right as well. So something like that. And it's up to you, because it is very, very flexible. You can change everything you want using the couple of classes we have created, 1, 2, 3 classes here. And of course, we have some classes we have added using the element inspection tool in Safari or any other browser. So that's it for vertical tabs. Very easy. Using just a couple of classes, we can create a structure with a sidebar and vertical links, which is quite useful for some type of websites. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I will talk to you in the next video.